Okay guys, so in this video what I want to discuss is why most webinars fail. And it's actually a really simple reason. It's really comes down to, and we've pointed out funnels and all the things that come down to it, but when it comes to a copywriting perspective, the reason why most webinars fail is people assume interest. In the last video I talked about we have to be able to convert uninterested people, and that's the key to scaling, and I mentioned that already, so I'm not going to get into that. But I wanted to give you a good rule of thumb. So with my Shopify webinar, the greatest change to the money we made, of course, came from micro optimizations, the thing we've discussed so far in this course. However, the biggest copywriting boost we ever gotten was when we first made the webinar. We were trying to talk to people like we assumed they wanted to build an online business. We assumed they already wanted to solve the problem. They already viewed the world the way we do. That's where the triple diamond is so important, because what it does is a level, especially if the 2K webinar, and assumes no interest whatsoever in the solution. And the biggest thing we assumed that was very damaging is that the person wanted to start an online business in the first place. And so we assumed that the person coming in was like, oh yeah, I want to hop on this webinar. I want to build an online business. They already had motivation to do it. There was nothing further to the truth. Well, the big realization was that people didn't want to build online businesses. In fact, people who came on, they were quite happy with their current jobs and working at their job for 40 years and going to college and the safe life, for lack of better words. This is why it failed, because if a person's happy with where they're at and they're happy with the way they're living life, they're really not going to make a large investment in something because the pain isn't there. It'd be like a person who has very, very, very minor acne spending $5,000 to fix it. It's just not worth it to them. Okay, yeah, I'll get a blemish here and there, but I'm whatever. And so the only people we're converting in that instance were people that wanted to build online businesses and were in massive pain about wanting to do so. And that's not very many people, especially when we're going broad. If I want to target the keyword money on AdWords, that's just not going to cut it. We need to get everybody. And by everybody, when we're scaling, we want to get every single person that we possibly can to convert and turn into a customer. That can become a customer. And this is especially true with the 2K webinar. And so what you must do is you must assume no understanding and no interest whatsoever in your webinars, depending on where you're starting off at. So if I'm running the Hyros webinar, I need to assume the person has no interest in tracking. I don't want to assume the person's going to come on the call and want to learn how to track. I need to create pain and motivation to be interested in tracking in the first place. I really need to sell them on the whole entire vision from the baseline, assuming they've never even thought about setting up tracking. I need to assume they don't understand anything about it. If a person's coming on to our Shopify webinar, I need to go even deeper. First off, I have to assume that 1, they don't even know what Shopify is. 2, they don't even want to start an online business. 3, they're not even motivated to start an online business. That's the huge shift in why most people can't scale their webinars, because when you're working with only people that want to start an online business, your sample size of people you can sell to is very small. And this applies to any niche out there. I'm just using this niche because it's an easy example. For example, if we're doing weight loss, we don't just want to sell to people that desperately want to lose weight. We want to sell to people that are like kind of okay being fat, and we want to make them feel like I can't do this anymore. That's good copywriting right there. That's good selling. We need to convince people that they have a problem, that really don't feel they have a problem. For example, in tracking all the time, when people hop on calls with me, they don't really feel they have a problem. And the reason why I sell so well at Hyros is because by about the middle of the call, they feel like they have a gigantic problem. If I just hopped on like, oh yeah, so I'm going to help you get your tracking going. So what excites you most about tracking? Let's go and connect it. They're not going to buy. What I convince them is that, like, dude, you got a tumor from not tracking. And they do. They do in these situations. You don't want to use this for evil. But this is why people's webinars can't scale, because they get stuck marketing here and you run out of customers here very quickly when we need to be marketing here. And so as we write our webinar, as we write our long-form sales videos, I want you to always assume the person has no interest. They're starting from baseline of not being interested. And they want the most knee-jerk reaction when it comes to selling. Okay? They want the most knee-jerk, press-button way to get things fixed. And that's why they're on there. And so you have to use that hook when we're luring people through. Okay, and I'm actually going to talk about that in the next video.